Actually, Barty, could you give me a character sheet for the Naga?
Bone Daddy.
And I'll just work on that in the background. Well, I think we are streaming now. Are we live?
I don't know.
I have ads, so I don't know. We're probably live, but we have ads.
Let's go with yes, we're live.
Hello, people.
Hello, everyone.
I've no idea. My little stupid thingamadoodle is taking its sweet, sweet time. That looks like us.
Is there something random, something not us, that we want to blame for us being late?
No, that's just our fault.
Oh, okay.
Imaginary people in the sky?
We could say Comcast. They're always overdue for being blamed for something.
Sure. Let's go truly old school. Let's blame AOL Online. It's all those CDs.
Yes.
Ruined our environment.
Okay. There we go. It pops up, but now it's an ad, so...
Man,
Yes, but we are live. I can see us now. Hello, everybody.
I didn't think we could start a stream with less momentum.
You don't understand what my end goal is. See if we can have like the least energetic introduction to anything ever.
We'll have so little momentum, we're moving backwards.
Slowly paring down to the heat death of the universe in the last episode.
It's a really, really like pretentious protest against the perpetualized stereotype that all online interactions, especially via streaming and YouTube content, where everything has to be needlessly energetic. You know, the whole "Hey, what's up, guys? We're here today, and we're like no. This is how a normal conversation happens. This is how
How else are you supposed to overcompensate for all of your audience being sitting alone in their basement craving friends?
I'm sorry, I went out and got a $70 haircut. This is just how it goes now.
Goodness me. Good evening, everybody, or whatever time of day it is just for you. Damn it, Mike. Yeah, screw it. If it moves again, whatever. Hope everything is going well for you, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the party. We here tonight are going to be playing some Dungeons and Dragons, specifically 3.5 edition, because numbers. I am your dungeon master for this evening, the Bardic Knock. You can find me various places over the internet, such as Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, or YouTube, or under that name, the Bardic Knock. It's all right there. And before I introduce I don't introduce them, they introduce themselves. They're all adults and can use words. So they...
Arguably. Both of those things.
Shh. Take the compliment, TJ.
I am adult-shaped and make sounds with my face, yes.
Before I do that, let me tell you about welcome to it's stuff, I guess. Our wonderful, wonderful sponsors. So go check those things out. The sponsors being who are they? God, Tabletop Loot for dice and stuff. Devin Rue, the mistress of maps. Go check her out. So at ruinc.com. She provides free artwork and stuff for us because she's a lovely human being. And then our merch provider, which is So Nerdware. You can go check them out and you can get a 10% discount from your orders there if you use the code WELCOME. So that is a thing. Welcome to Party is an all-inclusive gaming community. So if you are interested in that, you know, or streaming, or being on a stream, or just in general being a part of stuff, you can go join the Discord server down below. There is meant to be a big charity stream taking place later this month, so go and check that out. If I was more informed and more aware, I'd be able to tell you what that charity stream is, when it is, or what it is for, but I'm not. So it exists. Go check it out. You can also follow Welcome to Party over on Twitter at WelcomePartyRPG, over right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/WelcomePartyRPG. You can go find the YouTube channel where all of these things eventually get uploaded. That's youtube.com/welcome to the party. And Welcome to the Party has its own Patreon, which is patreon.com/welcome party RPG. And the Patreon is there to try and get some additional income here, to pay for all kinds of stuff. It's paying for people, game masters on here it's paying for Roll20s, it's paying for use of Zoom, it's paying for graphics and music and writers, and eventually, if this becomes successful enough, we, as people who run things on the channel, will also get a small amount of financial retribution, repayment.
Help.
I don't know. Yeah, that works. So if you've got the spare cash, consider doing that, because I like money. Oh, the other thing Welcome to Party has, it also has podcasts now. You can go and find them on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. They're all under Welcome Party RPG. There is a Legend of the Five Rings. There's a Rifts game, and one other thing, maybe, potentially. I'm not entirely certain because I really don't keep on top of all the information like I'm supposed to. I said all the things. Wonderful. Okay. Players. Who is here? Let's start with the people we can currently see. So that the well, Cody. I can see Cody. That's the one I can see on my screen.
All right. My name is Cody. I play Kid the Dark Horse. He is an Eldritch Knight, which is like a very fun mesh of wizard and fighter together. Together at last for the first time, with all of the different illusion spells that you could possibly use to make yourself be the trickiest little fighter you ever seen. He's also got a supernaturally deep voice because of a weird little thing he's got impaled in his tongue. That's why I sound like an interesting, actually no, like an unrealistic person.
I mean, that sounds kind of realistic. Whenever you turn the voice modifier off, I always go like, oh shit, yeah, that's Cody's real voice. I'm so used to
Don't encourage him.
Oh god. Oh no. The other human being you can currently see is the wonderful Shogun. Shogun, who are you?
I'm playing as Natalie, the cleric of death, who is married to the main villain and is helping the party chase him down and kill him.
Good goals.
Oh, and it has a giant bone snake.
It's your pet too.
I'm not touching.
You'll get killed if you do.
Don't mess with my bone snake. It's deadly. Oh gosh, I think.
Bone Snake is going to be the name of the tribute band that pops up in 100 years when this show becomes cult famous. And it's going to be weird because they're going to be a tribute band to a tribute D&D group to a fake tribute band, and then the universe is going to collapse on itself.
So, TJ, I think that's a really good way to introduce yourself. Well, I think I've just noticed, TJ, you appear to be in Shan's slot on the stream thing.
I just kept swapping people around because I don't even know who is who.
It's fine. Everyone's anyone now.
I am TJ, also known as Flick, the halfling.
There, fixed it.
/ assassin / bard. And
I'm so annoyed you didn't take one level in bard. Just for the end.
Yeah, just for the end. That would have been funny. I guess you'll just have to give us one more level up. Okay, everybody go quick. Yeah.
We'll see. So that's who you are. Then we also have... Don't blink. Are you here?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Do you remember who you're playing?
doesn't do much other than cast a lot of spells.
Doesn't do much except win everything.
He just is very, very calm. Not the craziest one in the group. Wants to get out alive is probably his biggest goal. Whereas everyone else is just wanting to die.
Want might be a strong word.
I mean,
Preparing and putting ourselves in positions where that is.
Well, for Natalie, that is literally true. And she did several times last session.
shit, yeah, she did.
Yeah, we're probably all gonna die.
Maybe. We'll see how it goes. And finally, we have
Rebecca.
I'm Rebecca. I'm playing the Dwarven Warlock. That's it.
Okay.
She's the most boring character. Not crazy at all. No way.
Totally normal. You know, just, if anything, a tad generic.
Barely hear you.
Something of us a compulsive liar, honestly.
Yeah, hang on. Everything decided to just go bloop. Let me check for everything.
Anyone else hear Matt? I can't hear.
He's very quiet.
Quiet.
And he was fine a minute ago.
There he goes. And now he's
Yeah.
muted.
For some reason, everything just went funny. Like all my stuff disconnected itself for a second, but it seems to be back now.
All right.
I think I twiddled a wire by accident, but it's fine. All right, everybody. That's everybody's who I done did say and is here. Shan is not currently here. She's not got good internet, and unfortunately, Archer is no longer able to join us for the rest of this game because we've only got a few sessions left, and real life has gotten very hectic for him. But that's okay because we're gonna make darn certain that Keldor gets some wonderful moments in this build-up and climax that we are bringing ourselves to. And with that, let's give a quick previously on. Don't you do it, Mike. You start falling apart.
My mic stand's falling apart too.
Go on and iron it. There we go. Previously, you went and had a good long chat with some dragons after finding out the entire mountain of Draxfire is essentially a hollowed out commune filled with all sorts of draconic creatures, kobolds, lizard folk.
Jerk kobolds.
Jerk kobolds.
Yes, the jerkiest of kobolds.
I thought he was fun and whimsical.
Yeah, he's gonna die.
We made sure of it.
All of that, and you got invited to that giant golden sphere of dragonness. You walked in, and you actually the dimensional pocket of existence with access to anywhere in the known world as far as you can tell. And you went and had a nice long bath in some hot springs. Everybody felt a lot better. People grew their limbs back who had lost them, and that was all that. And basically after that, you convinced the dragons to join you, and that is basically where we finished off. Now all you have to do is make vague plans on what you intend to do about that large, towering fortress of doom that exists. First of all, you're all getting out of the bath, springs, whatever we want to call them. What are people's plans? What's the plan of action heading forward? Like, where do you want to go?
To wherever your voice is louder.
Okay.
It's getting even quieter somehow.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's peaking gain, but we can keep going for a little bit. All right. So I relieved last time that we left off. Greg basically said this is where the diplomacy ends and this is where the strategy planning begins.
Yes.
And she pointed Kid out for a plan, and damn does Kid have a plan. Okay. So
Okay.
first thing is Kid's going to get everyone around, and he is going to pull out a very small drawing that he has made of the and he says, he looks at everyone and says, okay, so here's what we know about this thing. This thing moves, it spins slightly, and it shoots out these things that are capable of destroying basically everything they touch. We haven't seen anything stand up to it, not stone, not wood, nothing like that. So, if we're going to get into something like this, we've got to figure out where its weak spot is. And I think I may have identified one. Or at least, I may have identified a potential area that they would not consider. This thing is capable of firing all the way out to the side. However, I don't know if it's capable of firing straight up. And if it is, we do have an advantage, because the way these cannonballs seem to work is that gravity will affect them in this way. So if they fire straight up, they will not be able to go as far, and they'll go straight back down. This might be the only design flaw in the castle that there is. Now the only question is if we can fly just above the fire radius, if they can fire directly up, we can follow directly down, and the previous cannonballs will provide a small shield. But then we'd be flying directly along the side of the tower and would have to get in before they fire to the side again. Have I lost anyone yet?
Lost? No. Terrified? Yes.
Well,
We're
as
all
it
gonna
happens,
die.
that's likely. But here's the thing. If we can get over the top of it and be able to go down like that, it has to open up from the side for these things to fire outwards, right?
Does it?
We don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If we can fly along the side, if it opens up, then we can potentially go inside through one of the areas that they're firing. So that's the best plan I've got so far.
Well. Okay.
Does anyone have anything better?
I like the idea
I'm
of.
just racing down a death machine.
I like the idea of using their weapons against them. That seems like a good part of the plan. I think we should stick with that. Yes, in the back.
What if we went underneath? I assume it's designed to bombard places below it so it can fire down, yes?
Potentially. We've only been able to see so much of it. You were actually the one closest to it whenever it fired.
Yes. What if we reverse the gravity underneath it and let its shots return to it?
Okay, this idea is awesome. It's like doing my plan, but from below. Okay.
I think it's awesome by the look on Matt's face.
Okay.
Very well spotted there.
Yeah, it's all good. I've totally planned for this, is what he said. Yeah.
That's fine.
All eventualities covered.
Okay.
You're just getting a small visitation from the spirit of Amelia.
Cloud above us takes the form of frustration. It's odd.
Okay. What we need, though, is we need to make sure that their eyes are off of us as much as they possibly can, because we know for a fact that this guy has seen what we look like, or at least has seen what I look like.
Mm-hmm.
Has seen both myself and Nautilai, apparently. I assume he's seen you, right, Nautilai?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. So between the two of us, go ahead.
Uta raises her hands a bit.
Kid doesn't immediately notice it because Oots was short, but then does see it poking up. Utswa, you had a thought on this.
Yeah, how do you intend to use me? Because I think I'm about to lose all my things.
Why are you about to lose all your things?
How long has it been, Matt, in game?
Let me think. All right, how long? Shot up the side of a mountain much quicker than you should have done. However, you probably didn't spend that long in the springs, maybe an hour or however long. So, it's been maybe about 12 hours.
Oh, okay, that's not as bad as I thought it was. I mean, about half a day. Nah.
Half a day in what?
In like half a day, I'm not gonna have anything to I'll just blast things with.
Okay. This is a wrench. This is a wrench that we've thrown at the problem.
From where do you get your power?
Patron.
You must simply find another then.
How does one do that? I don't know.
We are beside one, I would believe. And Natalie would point just out the door. The door next to the one that we're in contains one, I'm sure. And I look back to, what is her name? Ice Lady?
Kimria?
Yeah. Is that not incorrect?
Well, I'm sure Mother would... That's probably something you need to go and talk to her about, if I'm being completely honest.
Can we?
Well, she chooses if people are allowed to go in, so you can go knock, maybe.
I would love to see her.
Kid's gonna look at Utswa and just sit and be like, I guess this is up to you. If that's what you want. I'm a little intimidated, honestly. I'll be the first to admit. Giant undead dragons that even Notad is afraid of.
I don't
God,
even.
no time.
I don't
Sorry,
even.
God.
I don't even know Dad, but he seems like a freaking coward. So you know, it's double fine.
Okay.
Do you mind if I come with you?
Assuming that this all goes.
What?
Do you mind if I come with you?
Absolutely not. I am terrified.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it seems like you're kind of in it at this point.
Okay. So I guess in that case, we just need to figure out how to utilize the little bit of an army that we've collected. We can send off a message that tells them to get ready for this thing, and we can pick the place where this is going to happen. So I've got a bit of an idea of what to do there. Since most of our forces are ground bound, what we need to do is we need to bring the castle crashing down. If we can do that, disable however it flies, these guys can storm it. But until then, we've got to have them on the ground doing what we're supposed to. The frost giants can act like living artillery. And I suppose the gnolls, the goblins, all of them, they can provide whatever support they possibly can in this. I know for a fact we've got at least a couple spellcasters among the goblins.
These frost giants, are they queasy?
I'm not sure.
Well, I was thinking if you say they're artillery, perhaps they could launch a few of my children up to join us and help distract the enemy at the very least.
How sticky are your children?
They vary.
Okay. Well, it seems like a pretty good idea. I'm fairly certain they can do it.
Yes. Many will die, but
But
they've
this
already
is
done
the
it
problem.
once or twice before. They'll be fine.
Okay. All right. I think we have a plan then. Okay. point, we just need to assign everybody a role. If we're going to take this thing down, we've got to make sure that we are all at the best possible way we can. So we need to make a decision. Do we want to try and go at this thing from the ground, or do we want to try and go at it from above, or both at once? Because the ones on the ground are at a disadvantage if our plan suddenly stops working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, run through the plan for me one more time here.
Either we dive bomb the place, or we come at it from below using reverse gravity, while giants are throwing people at this place.
I don't know, they both sound like awful ideas, but I don't know any other ones, so...
The other option, I suppose we could... Oh. I don't know, we haven't checked in with Vaco in a while. What spells can he? What does he bring to the table now?
The new one I learned is teleport, because I knew you were gonna make a plan that will most likely get us all killed. So I figured, I'm learning from Flick over here. It's good to have an ace up your sleeve. And I look over at Flick's character to make sure I said it.
Yep, you got it.
Okay. Well, I think Vaco just brought the little flask of ale. We can use this. All we gotta do is, we could potentially teleport directly in there.
Calm down now. I've never seen this place before. It's gonna, like, a lot of bad stuff will happen to us if I mess it up.
We've been inside it, haven't we?
Half of you have. Greg, Utswa, Flick, Relithor.
Yeah,
Who else
Vaco
was
was in it with us.
No, Varco didn't go there.
Oh, no, he didn't?
No, Varco went with you inside the prison town.
Ah, I see. Okay. Okay. What's our chances of getting in there?
Very low. Very, very low.
Okay. What are conditions for your teleport?
I need to be familiar with it, or at least seen it once to have a good chance of being there. Like, if I could see it from a distance, I could probably teleport us there, like in the general area. But no, it's gonna be very difficult to get us inside without me seeing it.
Okay. Alright, so I have another not-so-great plan that we could potentially use. If we try and go at it from below. If you guys would be willing to huddle underneath me, and I say this indicating that I can become bigger, I can potentially stop the cannonballs from becoming a threat. I can turn into a Remmer Haze. Once. I don't know if you guys remember, but if a weapon strikes a Remmer Haze, it can be destroyed. So I might tank a couple of the hits, but for the most part, I'll just slag any that don't make that.
Well,
That's fine. We have like that.
within my power, I can make whatever force that is going to strike invisible.
Okay. So that eliminates us being seen.
Hopefully.
Okay. Here's what I think we should do. We need to send one group from the ground, one group from the top. If the first one gets through, or if the one from the bottom gets through, the ones on the bottom, the ones on the top can keep them distracted, at least for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we can make our own way in from the bottom, hopefully, provided that holds up.
So,
Main goal is we need to
you
go ahead.
said you have a scroll of teleport, didn't you, kid?
Scroll of greater teleport.
Why can't someone who's been to that location before cast that scroll?
I've only got the one.
And I have 3 casts of it to
Okay.
get us out. So that person who's been to that tower that you want to go to, have him cast the scroll spell. We do what we need to do, and then we'll use my teleports. Everyone touches me. My hand is fine. And then we get out of there.
Thank you for specifying.
Okay. All right. That might be all we need to do then. If you guys are willing to use it, I can use the Greater Scroll of Teleport, and I should be able to get us. Although, let me double check exactly how many I'm able to do with that. I believe that I'm only able to do that to a certain number of people.
Teleport itself is anyone who's touching you.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there is a
I would
limitation.
imagine it'd be better.
Looking at just this over here really quickly. You and touched objects, including other willing people, you must bring along one additional medium or smaller creature, or its equivalent, per 3 caster levels. So Greater Teleport's a level 7 spell.
What level was the scroll?
I'm assuming that the scroll would be made with the minimum caster level required.
I remember it was quite a high caster level. I think it was.
That we've said it was 4 before.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like a 13th level, like caster level or something that made it.
Yep.
Then
So I can bring along 4 people.
why don't we just use Spice instead? Spice can get us. Yes. What I'm concerned is that if there's some form of blocking for teleportation in that castle, we are putting our lives into their hands.
Wait, they can do that?
Magic can do nearly anything. I would rather not be sent into the abyss without even a fight.
Yeah, I too am in disfavor of random trips to the abyss. So, okay, on that point, what is our objective here exactly? Like, we keep on going over ways to get in and everything. Are we just trying to kill the head honcho? Are we trying to murder everyone until the thing drops out of the sky? Are we trying to take out some magical thing that keeps it aloft?
I'm going to go ahead and say that third thing is probably what the main objective is. If we can take out whatever keeps it floating, then we have a better chance of making the other 2 things work.
And what's it above while we're doing this?
I don't know. We'd have to see where it is at this point.
Yeah, we might want to take that into consideration before we get there and realize it's above, you know, like a major city or something. Well, I guess there's none of those left, but...
Yeah.
Yes, it would be a shame if there were a multitude of corpses beneath us.
Yes, such a shame. Mockingly strokes his non-beard.
Okay. I think we have at least our first objective. That's what we should worry about. Now, here's the question. What is our strategy if we run into Zargafrax?
We run away.
You run away. I'll have a last dinner with him.
I've got my own score to settle with him, honestly.
That's not what I meant.
Forgive, forget. No.
You run.
Put it behind you. Live another day.
Let's put it like this. This guy's responsible for a lot of problems that we have. He destroyed first place that a lot of us had ever lived in, even though we weren't so big a fan of it. It's like he walked up to us and said, live anymore, and I personally take a big offense to. I've never had to sit here and think why why is it that someone out there wants to kill me? I've always known that, but I've never had to think about it before. And I've come to think, if this guy wants me dead so much, why am I going to let that happen? Why am I going to let that go without a fight? My bat died due to one of his minions.
I mean, I got better.
I mean, sugar's a weapon now. If anything, I just did the whole rebuild him type of thing. But this guy's also been inside my dreams, and he's boasting about being a god. And we got to remember that if it weren't for this guy, Primrose would probably still be alive.
At that last point, Bako just kind of frowns and just kind of like becomes subdued.
I mean, look at everybody around us. Angus had the worst day of his life on his wedding day. Oons, he's got some sort of thing. He got something in his blood that nearly killed him, made him lose the use of his arms. Our friends got tortured by this guy for no other reason than the fact that they were traveling with us. I mean, I'm not one to say that we've got a responsibility at this point, but who else can do it? I've only recently started believing in gods. And personally, I don't believe in this guy at all. And so, he's been killed before. That means it's possible. So let's let him stay dead. Which brings us to our last point. If we fight this guy, what's our way of making sure he stays dead? He's come back every single time. Anyone have an idea?
Do we have to roll to know about liches?
There are few weapons in the world that can keep him down. And I haven't found any of them myself. I have scoured this world for a few thousand years to find one. But if anyone can do it, it would be you.
Who?
The lot of you.
At this point, Angus will kind of, he won't step forward or step up. He'll just remind you that he exists. You know. So, remember how this whole like thing we've been doing for however long was going on, this whole hammer nonsense? Do you think maybe that has something that would be of use, or yay or nay? Because you know, if not, we just wasted a long ass time going to all these places doing things to get a.
I thought we were just like in denial and all buying into this to, not die immediately. Not you guys? No? Oh, okay. Well,
May I see it?
that's a stunning realization.
I mean, I've only just really met you properly, and a few minutes ago you literally stabbed yourself in the throat. I'm sure you're fine. Here, have a look at this mighty impressive relic of ungodly known power. And he hands you this very impressive looking warhammer that, when he holds it, seems to emit a divine light.
I tentatively touch the handle of it.
Yeah, you touch it and you can feel an immense level of power coming off of it. Specifically, right now, whilst Angus is holding it, because he's wearing the amulet that helps imbue it. But you can take it and you go, yeah, this is still a very impressive hammer. Quick question, Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider yourself to be noble and true and have a heart of steel?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. Well, sorry, a heart full of steel. Determination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as none of those require you being actually good. Yes.
Oh hell no. This hammer is not remotely alignment based. It is entirely personality based because the requirements of it are exactly that: to be noble, true, and have a heart full of steel. So it can be wielded by the goodest good, goody goodison, or the baddest bad, I eat orphans' faces. Um, and anyone can get the use of it. So yeah, you can hold it and you go, this is an impressive weapon. This is a big, hefty, god-killing weapon, given the right um, care, the right rituals, the right. If you do all the things, you can kill a god with this.
So I've been
Go ahead.
searching for something, some way to kill him for a very, very long time. I've seen many powerful weapons and probably even tried a few of them on him throughout the years, and nothing's worked. Does this feel like it's enough, that it's more than all those past things? It's enough that it could do it?
Um, whilst you are currently wielding it right now, no. You know it has the potential. You saw that when Angus was holding it, because he was wearing this amulet, it was more powerful. Like, okay, there's obviously a series of things one must do to get all of the power out of this. On its own, pretty good. Could probably, smash a couple skulls in. Great. When Angus was wielding it with that amulet he's also got on, even more powerful, even more great, wonderful. The reason well, you didn't know this, but everybody else does. You were coming to Draxfire to get the blessings of a magic dragon. So that is the last thing one would need for this hammer to unleash all of its glory.
As it is, it's not good enough. She hands it back, looking a bit dejected.
Well, that is the last thing. The only one who's been able to consistently use this thing is Angus. He's the only one who's able to draw out its potential, full or not, at a moment's notice. The rest of us have only barely scratched the surface whenever we've attempted it. I've gotten the use out of it once. That's all.
Well,
Yes.
Keldor got a pretty good whack at it. So, if I'm completely honest, I think if you've got, this fancy man jewelry, and then whatever this, oh, we need a dragon, don't we? So, Kimria, can you like do a blessing, or is that something for like? The stories say a magic dragon. Now, you'll excuse me if I'm not entirely versed on draconic peoples. Are you all magic, or is there a specific type of magic dragon? The songs and the poems are very vague. Say, oh, magic dragon, high on the mountain, all that. So,
She's gonna eat you.
Kamira just looks at him and goes, well, we all have magic. We all have some, but I assume you want the most magic. So that would be Mother.
Well, we're already going to say hi anyway.
And Angus needs to go with you. Just in case, Angus, I'm going to very covertly give him 2 of the princess's so that in case he's got to get himself out, that might give him the power boost he needs. I think we had exactly 5 of those left.
Of those magical tears, yeah.
Okay, he gets 2. if you couldn't do it, but I'll have the scroll out and ready because I still can't cast this thing perfectly. It's going to be a bit of a gamble, but not a big one.
If we cannot kill him, if we're not sure we can kill him, I have no interest in helping you.
I think we can do it. The one time I met him, he got, well, it was in a dream. Although I'm fairly certain I was talking to him. I nearly said the power word for kill during the dream, hoping that I could end him right then. But the dream cut, like, stopped before the word fully left my mouth. So my guess is that I could have done it right then. However, that'll also kill me, so I prefer not to do that again if I can avoid it.
Killing him like that is not what I mean. I've done it before. Several times, in fact. I mean, keep him dead. Because if we cannot do that, then I will not waste my time interfering with this history. Just one more kingdom that he has slain does not concern me.
How about you guys go take your time, see if you can talk to Mother Dragon. I don't know how else to call her. See if maybe she can offer some insight into that.
Yes.
Because dragons, I mean, they might be older than you are. I doubt it, but they might be older than you are, so they might know something you don't.
I am very much looking forward to meeting her.
Okay. Now, Flick, how can you handle undead?
Well, I've been working on that lately, and it turns out they do have a few weak spots.
Awesome.
Like,
Let's talk about that for a long time while they go do that.
I like it.
Yes.
Alrighty, so
Utswa and whoever you are, let's go.
So it turns out if you hit them right in the center of the spine, right below where the rib cage is, they just snap in half, and then you just.
Angus looks at NASA like, I'm the rightful heir to this entire. Never mind. You're
What?
intimidating.
What kingdom?
Fife. It's the one. It's in my name. Oh.
Papa just like shakes his head. This is probably the only time that he feels sorry for him. Truly sorry.
Oh, poor Princey Prince lost all the things he ever. Oh.
Okay, so you step out the doorway to this magical spring. You end up back in this long hallway filled with doors to various places all over the universe, world, whatever you understand it to be. And the door next to you, like I described before, huge dragon-sized door covered in chains and bolts and locks and wooden planks. It's sealed tightly shut, and there is a disturbing aura of both death, fear. Well, not both. It's just all the bad things, all the bad feelings one can get about a thing. You get it from this door.
Natalie sort of lightly bows to the door and whispers under her breath, "The lover of the thief has come to meet you."
This, were you doing anything or saying anything to the big spooky door?
Utsubal will bow in kind, but stay silent.
Okay. Angus is going to stand there, and Angus is quite a stereotypical masculine male, quite broad-chested, very much like, all right, I'm a man. he is terrified of this, and he is acting like a small child. I don't think I want to actually step through. Maybe
Do you
I'll
need
just,
to hide behind me? Come on.
I mean, maybe a wee bit, like, you know.
Natalie looks towards him. I have seen many lineages. And I hate to be an old person, but they used to make them better than this. This is the moment where you prove whether your lineage shall be here in 1,000 years or not.
Do you want to just tell me I've got a tiny cork as well? Fine.
Don't worry, I'll make sure that part makes it into the $3.
Mako just shakes his head.
Okay then, so let's do this whole. What? Do I just knock? Fine, I'll knock. Bang, bang, bang.
He's gonna attack, isn't he?
So I was never really good at all this princely legal crap. Dragon person of great importance.
Oh no.
Can we come in and have a wee chat? That'd be grand.
Natalie steps forward, beckoning for Utswa to come along as well.
If it is. She's staying near Natalie because it's with Angus is a lost cause in her eyes at this point.
Natalie knocks lightly and says, 3 stand before your entrance. 1 is family. The other seeks a friend. And the third, desperate, seeks a boon. Please, re-request entrance.
Shogun coming at this with like real good fucking role playing up here making. Yeah. Silence fills the entire hallway. Not normal silence, like unnatural. It almost feels if you cannot hear yourself think. Silence, as if nothingness. And slowly you see locks begin to turn open, chains undo themselves, and these 2 giant steel, like metal iron doors creak open, just enough for a person to walk through.
Natalie will confidently but cautiously step forward.
Boots will follow, assuming they don't close on her.
And Angus will reluctantly step through finally as well. After that, the doors close, and you can see just behind them, you can see the hallway, and it closes behind you. You are in complete and utter darkness. Like advanced darkness. Magical darkness. You cannot see, hear, smell, sense, touch. You cannot detect anything around you. This darkness feels infinite. It is almost as if you are floating. You can't sense which direction is up, which direction is down, where anything is. You are devoid all of your senses in complete black. Until a quiet whisper perforates inside of each of your minds. You can hear it, but the sound does not seem to come from your ear. It to just exist, and you can comprehend it. You come, and you ask for my kindness. Speak
I am Natalie, and I request merely to see you, and nothing more.
At that moment, Natalie, well, all of you can see this. In the infinite blackness, you can sense, you can make out the vague shape of slightly less dark, you know, because it can be separated. But you can see a black, but less black than the infinite blackness. Colors are hard, but you can sense this smoke forming in what seems to be a serpentine dragon's skull, and it has a single glowing bright yellow eye that comes out of one of its eye socket skull hole things.
I will deliver the message to you. The thief and his lover shall return to natural death soon.
This pleases. The thief has gone on far too long. You promise an end to him.
To us both.
And how do you intend to do this impossible task?
And Natalie will point back through the darkness to where she thinks Angus is. This one.
The foolish prince.
Unfortunately, yes.
Angus is... You can't see him. He's there. He is very uncomfortable. And he instinctively, without realizing it, seems to grip a hand around the hammer. And as he does so, a very bright light perforates, so you can see everything. It just kind of blasts forward, and you get an image of this dragon in its full. It is unrealistically huge. The biggest thing you have ever seen, including mountains. This dragon is bigger than that. In fact, you are not even the size of a single tooth that you can make out of this creature. It is infinitely huge, and it is spectral and skeletal. It seems to exist between incorporeal and corporeal. You can see bits of areas where flesh would be, but it seems to be decaying. You can see bits of bone, but you can then also see through it. This creature is both living and dead, and just incomprehensible to your understanding of existence, basically. Yeah. That's the correct response, Rebecca.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I was waiting for.
And so Angus is holding his tiny little hammer, and you see the dragon almost recoil ever so slightly at the light from this, and it hisses like an affronted cat. And it looks, and it just goes, "A tool too powerful in the wrong hands. But it is not my place such things. I presume it needs the blessing. Probably. D- d- do I need to do anything? Quiet. You can make out the shape of this dragon as it kind of, you see its head peel up, where its neck would be, it almost doesn't move as if it's attached to anything, like it forms into smoke and just maneuvers. It is unfathomable, it is unnatural as this entire being just shifts and moves on a whim. And it rears up and it breathes out this strange translucent smoke that seems to envelop all of you, but then is spiraled round and sucked into the hammer as the hammer itself just flashes, and then all of the light vanishes from it and you are returned to the infinite darkness. Then, as time seemingly passes, for an eternity, the hammer just explodes in this tremendous outpouring of power. It's not light, it's not light, it's not holy, it's not divine, it is just power that you can feel emanating from this thing. Okay then, great. Thank you. Utsua, did you have something you had to ask the nice dragon lady?
Natalie steps back to where she thinks Utsua is and like puts her hands on Utsua's shoulders just from behind to try and be helpful.
Just for a question, how would you describe the feeling of Natalie's hands to be?
Very cold. And it's like if you hadn't seen her before, you might be like, I think there's a skeleton behind me.
They're oddly comforting in this current time.
Well, yeah, relative to infinite blackness, that's pretty nice.
It's on a sliding scale, you know?
I don't know how to ask. I don't know how to ask people.
Should I speak for you?
This seems counterproductive at this point.
Go ahead, you can do it.
Oh god. I don't know how to say this other than I'm looking.
I assume that your current provider is insufficient.
Yes, very much so.
And what do you offer me?
What does a majestic dragon want?
exchange for this power, you'll owe me something.
Can we just make an agreement right now that I don't have to kill my best friend and or possible love interest?
That's an oddly specific request. But I do have something else I want you to kill. Someone you will be most intimately familiar with.
As long as it's not a half-orc named Greg, I'm okay with that.
No, 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 no. This being has been a part of you for longer than you can recall. And I believe both you and I will take great pleasure in watching you end their existence.
Only thing I can think about what you're saying is you want me to kill my fear of you, but I don't know what else to be besides that.
Shh. You think too small, my precious new plaything.
Oh god.
Now, your previous employer, a fae, correct?
I think so.
Somewhat of an asshole.
Now you're being all specific, but yes.
Yes. Enjoyed feeding off of rage.
Yeah.
The dragon, made of smoke and bone and decayed flesh, seems to move and out of where the chest would be. A strange fey creature seems. Utswa, you have never seen this creature. You have merely heard and maybe had visions of it, but there is a very familiar presence coming off as it seems to form into existence and just kind of looks around and goes, what? What's going on? I don't like this.
You look way creepier than I thought you'd be. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Who's Jesus? Hell no, but Christ.
Yep. Why do you think I don't let people look at me? Come on. So, I don't like what you've done here. This is how you deal with me telling you that I'm gonna like take all your powers because you wouldn't kill your friend? Low blow.
Yeah. Low blow to you, dickhead.
You're a dickhead.
Miss Dragon Lady, are you asking me to kill this guy? I would love to.
Take your time.
Oh.
As your previous patron, you find that they are incapable of movement or defending themselves. They appear stripped of all powers and capabilities. You may take your time doing whatever it is you wish to do to this creature.
Oh, damn.
Natalie will bow and leave. Have fun.
Yeah, Angus is gonna like cling onto Natalie's shoulders and just walk out. You see the doorway, like just the doorway open out of the infinite darkness, out back into the hallway. So, Utswa, you can have a fade to black moment where you can take out every single bit of rage and frustration you have against your previous employer.
Well, the question is this with his power or her power?
with her power.
Sweetness.
Don't
Fade to black and maniacal laughter from the other room.
don't touch me, peasant.
Actually, if we actually want to stay in there and see what happens.
Oh, Vodka, did you go in to see the dragon as well?
He's invisible, sitting in the corner.
I was just quiet the entire time. I didn't want to make a noise.
He clung to Angus like he did Keldor that one time.
I mean, it's really in character for Vodka to just kind of there.
Yeah.
I've been here the whole time.
Yeah. I've been standing here for 2 days straight.
Yeah, so Vodka, you can watch whatever that is.
As soon as they get out, Natalie pushes Angus away.
Uh-oh.
Please stay away from me, peasant.
I mean, I'm literally the exact opposite of the peasant, but okay.
You have earned no nobility yet.
I mean, as far as I was aware, I assumed, you know, for the vast majority of people, nobility was something born into. But
Yes.
no, you're right. I've not really done anything that impressive or important. If I hadn't been born a prince, I probably wouldn't be an important person at all. So.
Angus, the Duke of Cottonbuff needs your help really quickly.
Oh, thank God, someone else I can go and talk to. As he very quickly.
Natalie will follow though, because she wants to be in on whatever plans her made.
Yep. Angus will walk on through, finds where Kid and Flick and the other God knows how many NPC friends you've got with you are. You can all feel the immense power emanating from the hammer currently, as it just swings from Angus's hip. You know, you walk in. He walks into the room, and it's just someone here got the means to kill a god. Hey now.
So Angus, solve a little argument we were having. I'm not sure if it'd be better to attack an undead giant from the front or the back, so I don't know what would smell worse. Ooh.
Upgrade.
I mean, you know, if I had to take a gander, it'd probably be the best to just like, well, it's gonna smell bad every which way. So, although I don't think undead defecate, so you don't really have to worry about that. If that's what you're concerned about, attacking from behind. So all of its weak points would logically be there, wouldn't they?
It was really a throwaway joke. What's this?
I don't know. I was just going off what you were. I was just picking up what you were laying down out there. So, yeah. If you ever want a pants shitting experience, go hang out in that room for like 5 minutes.
Well, it might not work for you. It requires that you be a coward.
Ouch.
Angus, I think we need to test that, don't we? Your hammer.
We can do that.
Okay. Let's see if we can get an idea of how strong this thing is. I'm trying to figure out exactly what the strongest thing I could potentially throw at him is. The only issue is Shadow is not going to be as strong.
I'm gonna line up 10 bricks in a row. And on a scale of 1 to 10 bricks, we're gonna see how many bricks it goes through.
What you should do is make something living and put it in the pool.
That's an idea.
In fact,
Still have that head?
yes. She grabs the head and throws it in the pool.
All right, Angus, when he comes out, no matter what state he's in, I need you to end him.
You know, I've done some questionable things in my time, but what? Okay, sure, whatever. Do it. Go for it. I'm just gonna sit over here.
Okay, so the head of your undead child, you let it grow out into a body, and it's weird because the body appears to be living flesh, but the head is undead, so it stays undead. As it comes out, Angus takes his hammer, he swings it round, he grips it in both hands tightly. Monstrosity that you have created before him. He acknowledges that he hates it, that it is his enemy, and that he is going to destroy it as soon as I find.
And rolls a 1.
Okay, I just need to check.
Just swings past, hits himself in the kneecap.
Okay, so off the top of my head, weapons. Scoop doop diddly doop doop diddy butt up. I'm just trying to remember all. Some. Okay, so
Welcome to 3.5, everyone, where there's 1,000 dice and you don't know which ones to roll.
I don't remember if I've got it all set up on here. I mean, it's probably not because I haven't really been leveling up the NPCs. Well, it's fine because I know exactly what it is damage-wise. I'm not going to roll to hit. Actually, I will in case it's 20. 20.
Oh, hello.
No.
Torn
It's
Pixie
fine.
just raided with 10 people.
Woo!
Thank
Oh,
you.
Hello, and thank you. What we're just doing is we're finding out how left it. So, I mean, he was going to hit anyway. I was just rolling with D20 see if it was a crit. So what he is doing, to break it down, this hammer is now infused, and it deals an additional 6d6 of damage.
Ouch.
And it's the most powerful a weapon can get in 3.5, so that's +5. So it is dealing the d8 hammer normally deals +5 +66 plus Angus's strength mod times 1.5 because he's wielding it two-handed. So /R 1d8 +6 6 +5 +5. Oh, that's not happening. I'm bad at Roll20. Can someone else do that better?
Oh, geez. Okay, give me just a moment.
Also, while you're doing that, Wiley Hobbit just subscribed for 16 months in a row.
Whoa!
I think he's been here since before the game started.
No, Wiley's been here about as long as this game has been going on.
Yeah.
We've been playing this for 16 months. Jeez Louise.
44 damage. That's pretty good.
Jeebus Louibus.
Yush. That's 44. That's a good chunk of damage. That's almost enough for you need to make it. I'm assuming your undead child doesn't have 44 hit points, right?
Well, probably not like that. Yeah, probably not.
So, just to keep the joke going, this head, it's grown its body back, and Angus swings and just detaches the entire body from it. Just thwomp.
I just snatched that up again. I'll still be hanging on to him.
Okay, Sugar, I think I may have found, like, I don't know. I don't know how the royals do it. I know that they're, like, marrying other royals all the time. So, I might have found your new spouse. Just letting you know.
Are you gonna marry those weapons?
Yes. I'm assuming the Hammer of Justice is somewhat sentient.
Can't just marry people. We talked about this.
You have to, like, ask
I'm
them and
royal.
stuff.
I'm technically royal, so that kind of puts a new perspective on things.
Oh my god.
Prima Nocta.
We're at break time.
We are at about break time, but we just got a raid, so I'm gonna see if we can go in for like 10 minutes, to keep them enthralled, so they don't all just leave and abandon us like they really should, because this is terrible, terrible content that I create. You guys do great.
Subliminal advertising.
All right.
So you've just done all that. You found out how powerful your new weapon is. It's great. It's grand. It's wonderful.
So will emerge covered in goo at some point.
Yeah. Utsua will emerge from the terrifying room of infinite darkness, in whatever viscera Rebecca feels necessary to describe, and Barco will just sneak out behind her because he had been there the entire time. I'm assuming trembling, shaking,
He has an oddly satisfying smile.
a little bit turned on by it.
Well, I guess we'll put that into his background now.
You know, a little bit like, I didn't know I was into that, but I am
Oh.
now.
I'm
Is
a
it kink
satisfied
shaming if
person,
he's a
Coach.
lobster?
Let's just say he's a shoal and call it good. They're covered in ooze anyway.
Terrifying women. Turn him on. No.
Kid,
Yes.
I will be joining you for this fight.
Awesome. Because if he hadn't, I would have had to turn into an avalancher, and that is not something I was looking forward to. Okay. So I guess the next step is figure out where this thing's heading, get our army there as quickly as we can, and I guess end this.
I guess.
Well,
So-
no, Flick, go.
Are we teleporting in still? Is that part of the plan, or are we dive bombing it, or do we ever actually come to that conclusion?
I believe Spice can get the lot of us into that castle.
I think we need to save the scroll for the
Getting
last
out?
possible moment we might need it. Yeah, because while Vako can teleport, it's limited.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's probably a good idea. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Let's go. Let's just do it. I think that's the
Okay.
that's the tack we have to take. Is let's just get it done. Okay.
Kimria, aka the ice bitch, whatever we're calling her, she's just gonna. That's just how I refer to her, because like stone cold, like top level bitch, and she's wonderful at it. She's just gonna kind of look at you all and go, so your plan is, well, regardless of how you intend to get in there, do you want to maybe gather your forces and do something, or do you need me to? Do you want to go look at where the giant flying fortress of death is headed to?
Yeah,
Probably.
we can send messages to the forces to get them into the right spot, and we can do recon up until we know how far it can fire, so we can at least look to see what we might do. We might even be able to see some other weakness too.
Yes, dragon scouts would be effective. However, I need to kill a kobold before we leave.
Yes. Well, we don't actually have to go and scout anything at all, because if you just follow me through it back into the entrance hall, walk, you return to the really normal-looking room.
I lean into Kid and I say,
$10 says I have a crystal ball.
Okay, I don't know why you're bringing deer into this, but all right, I'll bet some gold though.
Just wanted to punch you.
Go ahead and try, man.
start studying Kid for weak spots while we're walking.
You return to the really normal-looking average room, and Kimria, she points over to a large piece of cloth, and she pulls it down. It's a very elaborate and expensive-looking mirror, and she just kind of taps it a few times, and you see the image on the mirror. It moves, it shapes, it wobbles, and you get an image of a giant flying fortress of death. And luckily for everyone involved, it's this wonderful bird's eye view where you can see almost the entire nation of Fife, and you can see it's even got little lines behind it to show the direction it is moving, and places have place names on. It's like you're looking at a big fancy map. because
Right.
that's the easiest way to describe it. And you can see where it is moving. It seems towards the what is basically the last remnant of human civilization, being Scarfell. It is heading in that direction via the burnt-out remnants of Dundee.
Okay. So we know for a fact that there's no survivors there, and that is where we told everyone to meet up. So this might be quicker than we thought it would. Wow. Okay, we can end this, and that feels really interesting to say.
Judging by its current trajectory, you say you have about, let's say a full 24 hours before that giant flying fortress is over Dundee, and then another maybe 6 hours from then until it is over. Well, no, let's say 24. That's fair. So it's 24 hours till it hits Dundee, and 24 hours after that it'll hit.
How far away is the castle from here, right where we're at?
Where you are right now, it depends on how you intend to get there. Like, if you're just gonna go fly and.
Well, greater teleportation, I believe, is like 100 miles per spell per caster level.
Try 1,000.
Yeah, something like that. So,
That's a bit of a difference.
but like,
About how far away is it as the dragonflies?
Okay. Considering the entire country.
oh wait, no.
Five. Is,
Greater teleportation has no range limit. Never mind.
Yeah. The entire nation of Five is not even like radius.
Yeah.
It's
So
relatively small.
we can teleport there from here.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Vaco could even make a couple trips and he could get all of us.
Can you teleport while you're invisible?
Greater.
Like, does the invisibility wear off? Has to be greater invisibility.
I could cast it.
You can do that now.
Let Spice get us there, and let Vaco and Kid, your scroll, get us out.
Yes, but if we can show up invisible too, so that they don't know how many of us there are. Like me specifically, I want to be invisible.
Spice can do that as well.
Oh, okay. We're relying an awful lot on this thing.
Yes.
Yours.
You may hate Taliesin, but he did well.
I'd say I hate him. He doesn't look very cuddly. Like,
I hate him. He killed my bat. He can deserve to be killed as many times as possible.
Yes. But he did give me a very good gift.
Okay. I say we do this. All right. I say we can move out as immediately as possible. I've technically got my full complement of spells ready to go. We can see how much of our force is there. And I guess work as the situation is necessary.
Okay. You know what? Yeah. Kimria's gonna keep the image of the mirror going, and she'll let it zoom in like a camera, and you notice underneath the giant flying fortress of death and destruction, there seems to be this shaping mass, and as the image gets closer and closer, you can see that is actually a huge, terrifying army of what appears to be a mixture of both undead and living creatures, all seemingly marching under the king.
All right.
Damn it all.
This is what we have our own army for.
Yes.
Our stuff are likely better trained and also alive in their entirety.
Well, most of them.
is that an advantage?
For now.
My children will join you in battle.
It's good. I hope you got a lot of them.
I do.
busy lady. Couple thousand years, sure. Every 9 months, it works out. Math adds up.
Wait a second. So we started the whole thing with him descending once an army of undead, and we're doing that again at the very end. I like it.
Yep. Okay.
Full circle.
Yeah.
All we need right now is some inspiration.
Well, look at it this way. We all barely escaped tooth and nail our deaths to begin with, so that we could run full circle right back into them. At a time of our own choosing, I guess. So that's a positive thing. We could be part of this undead army already.
But we aren't, so that's probably the best.
I wonder what this story would be like from the perspective of the people who are.
I don't know, just listening to a bunch of people talk while they're fighting most of the time. Just have to wait until they're done.
I'm good to go kill that kobold, then we can leave.
Alright, you do you. We'll make our way. I think Mateus should stay behind.
That seems oddly specific and catered just to me.
Well, I mean, if we don't make it out, we need someone to tell our story. And who better than a bard?
I mean, a historian, maybe?
No, we want it told well.
A voice like yours.
That's true.
Oral history survives much better.
Especially when everyone can hear you whether or not they want to.
I mean, I suppose I could just write it down, so then it's not just me telling a story. I've written a story, and then, in how many hundreds of years, it will be an actual, piece of history that just... Technically, we're all historians, just not yet.
Tell you what, how about we do it like this? Why don't you leave us out of it? Why don't you make it all about Angus, and why don't you make it music?
Well, I could do that, but no. I think, in reality, Angus has just kind of been a plot point and a driving...
That's the best point. Technically, he's the everyman. He's the one who everyone else can look to be. The rest of us, we're unattainable.
Well, that's true. Not necessarily for good reasons, but
yeah, why don't you? Yeah, make the story about him. Tell us about the Prince of the Land of Fife, the one who's noble and true with a heart of steel.
I do. Maybe, yes, I could do that. It's all about this hammer of glory. This glory hammer.
Look, friends, if we fail, I'll write the history myself.
Okay. I think we should do this. All right, you go kill your lizard. The rest of us, I guess we need to go find where Spice is.
No, hold on. I gotta go use the bathroom too. Is that not what kill your lizard means? No?
Natalie.
Yes.
How are you going and killing this kobold?
I specifically want to meet him, have him summoned to the cliffs, right where he had one of my undead children walk off the cliff.
This slightly older looking kobold, they're kind of bad. I chuckle, go.
All right. Go get my son. The one that you told to walk off that cliff. Bring him back to me.
Okay. The little kobold walks up to the edge of the cliff, rubs their little claws together.
And then Spice whips him in the back with his tail, sending him as far off the edge of the cliff as possible.
Just jokes on you. Kobold just starts flapping and flies away.
See, that's what I was actually going to do. The kobold was about to sprout wings, but no, the blunt force will have knocked it far enough, but it's not able to. It's like... All right, I think that is a perfect point for us to take a quick 5-minute break, everybody. Yep. We'll be back real soon, and don't go anywhere. Just
Hey.
Stay there. Doodly-doo.
back. Hello.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody. Doodly doo. Plans are being made. Well, they have been made, so now it's just a matter of execution. You have a full 24 hours before the giant flying fortress of death and its immensely sized army of undead horrors arrive to make confrontation with where the majority of your forces are currently at. We don't really have what your forces are written down. I started working on it, I've probably forgotten a lot of it. So I know the main group, this important lot, the players basically, you have your plan. What's the plan for everything else? This is full on war. It's like, nah, they'll sort themselves out. We'll cut off the head and hope the body falls.
Well,
What exactly are any of you aware of exactly what constitutes his army other than the undead? What are the living that serve him, and why?
I think this was more Flick's thing. I think you guys annihilated a good chunk of them, right?
Did we?
The living that you have come across, they appear to, be generic human-y types. Basically all people who work under Krail, corrupt city guards, people, just bad people, opportunistic people who decided to go, yeah, if I join up with this, I'll come out on top. Why not?
If you're interested in preserving the life of your army, your friends, then we should make sure that the living members of his army surrender as soon as possible once their leader is dead.
Also, I see another slight flaw in this whole thing. Isn't our plan to bring this fortress down? Isn't the fight going to take place in the down?
Yes, you'll want to make sure your army is not crushed by it.
Yeah, anyone
Good
else
thing
see a
about
sight?
them is the majority of them are goblins, so they're pretty fast on their feet.
Yeah, sure. Like, outrun a mountain falling from the sky fast.
Okay, I see your point. Maybe if we can get it to list backwards, maybe.
We will be inside of
Fine,
it.
whatever controls it. Yeah, whatever we can do to control it. I'm assuming the controls are on the inside somewhere.
Like, I'll run to one end and jump up and down or something? Or... I think you're vastly overestimating the amount of influence we're going to be able to have over this situation.
The thing is, we don't have enough information.
That's definitely the thing.
Okay, then here's the idea that we have. We try and get it from range as much as we possibly can, although that does make one part lesser. So let's assume something like this. If his armies are marching underneath it, he's likely not going to obliterate his own army if it includes living people. Because the thing about the undead is they'll keep marching no matter what, but the living people, once they start to see that they're being thrown away, that's the point when they get demoralized. So that also goes to the fact that if we do send our people to take on the armies head on, we need to stress very much so that they have to use non-lethal force on the living creatures. Good news about that is, then Natalie, you can probably justify this. Clerics who are very good with undead typically do not have the ability to heal that well, or at least not as often.
If we attack from below and he fires on us, he's firing on his own with every shot that misses.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, that won't kill too many of them, and that won't slow down the undead, but it will demoralize his men.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps
So
even this teleportation works, perhaps we should find a way to lure out his fire onto his own men.
throwing people's lives away.
Well, we don't have to send real people.
Okay. So we send your army first, is what you're telling us.
Well, I suspect some of us may have some illusory capabilities.
I have some, but not enough for an army.
What about one big dragon?
I can do that.
I think they'll shoot at that.
Okay.
Although,
What about the
yes,
rest of our-
my army should probably be the vanguard.
Okay. Seems like a good idea. So where does your army rank among ours? Do they even have ranks?
No.
Do you have any intelligent ones among your army?
Yes, yes. Some. The older
How
ones.
much military experience do they have?
Well, Taliesin was a prime example of his kind, although he was a bit lightweight for amongst his brothers.
Yeah, he's much lighter weight now.
The head just kind of goes.
Quiet now.
Okay. Yeah, main problem is if we're gonna send us in, we've got to make sure that our army can conduct themselves. So
Yes.
I trust Keldor's judgment. I trust him to be able to lead them appropriately, and we also have Unst who can get his barbarians going the way they're supposed to. So I guess if this is how we're going to do it, where do we fit in before we get inside? I'd like to conserve as much spell power as possible.
Yes. You should hold one casting of Ascending, or whoever's going to do it, to inform your armies that the castle is falling. So
In
they
that
get as
case-
much opportunity to move as possible.
Okay, unless we can send some sort of message out,
Yes.
like through the thing itself. I think honestly our best chance, because if this thing is flying with any sort of direction, I'm willing to bet we can control it from the inside. We just have to figure out where that inside part is. Tell you what, I think I have an idea. If we do try to get this and make it work the way it needs to, I think I can probably use... Yes, I can absolutely make some sort of signal to the outside that it's about to fall.
All right. As long as they know
That's
what
the
that
best I-
signal is, that should work.
Yes, I can do that with absolutely no problem. I can use ventriloquism.
Or if that
That'll
illusory
broadcast it.
dragon is still out.
That's going to take a lot out of me. I can do it, it's just a really rough thing. I'd have to use a shadow conjuration, and I couldn't get a dragon out of it. Maybe a hippogriff, but...
Well, that's a pretty big difference.
In that case, and again, I turn to the woman that I can't remember her name, the frost person.
Yeah.
May I see your graveyard?
Okay.
Oh, no.
If you're wanting to find,
I can tell you with absolute certainty that Mother wants this done.
yes, I'm sure. Thing is, there isn't many of us just laying around.
Yes.
The graveyards, they're more for.
I only need a couple pair of wings. The rest can be filler.
Many of our inhabitants here at Draxpire, many of them are already winged.
Yes. Take
Yeah.
me to your
So-
graveyard.
Okay. She'll walk you through into the corridor of doorways, and you keep going, and you reach a very ornate set of stone pillars, each with dragons on and skulls. and she'll walk you in, and there is just endless. No, it's infinite graves.
Anyone else get the shivers when she's around?
So yeah, like you said, dragons live forever, and any that are killed probably weren't killed near enough to be recovered. So I'm imagining they don't have any actual dragon corpses here.
There are no dragon corpses.
That's
however, kobolds, lizard folk, dragonborn, half dragons, what other draconic creatures are there off the top of my head? Just
dragon
all,
elves.
yeah, just all the dragons, except dragons.
Yeah. But there are ones with wings, creatures with wings.
Yeah, there's kobolds which have got wings. There's lizard folk which have them. There's all kinds of crazy stuff.
How long did you say before we had to fight?
Well, assuming that the vessel doesn't speed up in any way, shape, or form, you have a full 24 hours before it reaches where your army is currently stationed.
All right. Let me see what I can make. Any shuffles around?
No, we tend to just
Right.
snap our fingers.
Spice. And Spice is going to start rooting around in there, just digging things up and just piling thing after thing after thing into just an enormous pile.
Just bringing up loads of it.
Yep. So I'm going to basically my plan is to use all of the magic that I have and all of the magic that Spice has and all of the bits and stuff that they have to try to assemble mostly a dragon out of all these bits and just stitch it all together.
Okay, so you are essentially wanting to make what is essentially like a bone golem.
Yeah.
In the shape of a dragon.
Yeah, a draconic flesh golem.
Those exist, Matt. That's a thing.
There's no actual dragon flesh.
Yeah, I know these things exist.
If it requires actual flesh to work, I will ask for some materials out of their kobolds.
Does that count as dragon flesh? I mean, I don't want to get in the way. I should. Yes, do it. Go for
it's
it.
all up to Bardic.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, I'm going to consider this like the creation of a. These dragons, well, the Society of Dragons, they will have all the means you need to create that. You have a full 24 hours. I don't think you need to justify rolling anything for that.
Okay.
Time and essentially to get all of this, put it together. I mean, it's slightly chimeric.
Yeah.
In how it's being put together, because obviously, you do not have one full dragon, so it's not going to be perfect, but you can cobble together at least something the size of a dragon made of small leftover pieces of many, many things.
I'm hoping it can fly. If it can't, that's okay. Although it's probably a lot lighter than a dragon since it's mostly dry bones now. I don't know. If it can't fly, that still works. That's still okay. But if it can, that is perfect. Chicken and Bones Jones just joined the party.
I wish you could hear me because your name's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's a wonderful name.
Hey everybody, I'm Chicken Bones Jones.
It's a fantastic name. So you're putting together this huge, ridiculous thing. That's how much time do you want to say you're spending doing that?
All of it. Basically, I can chat with people if they come over to where I'm at. Otherwise, I'm just stuck doing this.
So 24 hours, 8-hour rest periods, can do full spell casting.
Yeah. What does everyone else want to do with these this time, these 24 hours?
In the Fortress of the Dragons? I
Yeah.
know. I think I might, look for something to steal, maybe?
I'll help.
All right. What kind of thing would interest you? I mean, yes, I could make something
Is
up.
Ursula wanting to come too? I just heard Rebecca. I want to make sure.
Protective items or crazy magical wands or scepters or staves or
So
things that
wands.
we need firepower.
Mm-hmm.
We need magical aces up our sleeves.
This is the plan. Bach, are you in
Okay.
on this? Utswa?
Utswa is changing her appearance a bit. She's busy.
We will get Utswa's magical girl transformation soon.
Taliesin can help. He can be a good lookout while you're stealing stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
just
going to
stick it on a
point him in the
pike.
opposite direction.
Okay. Since I unfortunately do not have any of my books, because they are all, 30 miles away, boxed up in a real house. Basically, I am trusting you, as players, to be perfectly reasonable.
That's a very big smile, Cody.
To be perfectly reasonable for the kinds of items you are interested in finding, and I am okay with you finding them. This is building up to the climax of this entire campaign, and I want you to be equipped with things that you want to use.
So, Google, how to break the assassin class.
Okay, I think we need to look for scrolls.
Scrolls would be good.
Scrolls are awesome. Where is the nearest draconic library?
I'm crazy.
Every one of us can use scrolls. Flick's got less, but he can use them still.
Yeah.
I mean, Flick, have you put anything into use magic device?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's got magic
Specifically
uses
for
as well.
that purpose.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a
Nice.
spellcaster now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, assassin. All right, yeah. So if you ask Kimria, she'll happily say, "Well, since this is the final countdown, I suppose it is only." I was waiting for that. This is the appropriate time to open up our immense treasure stores of hoarded items of power. If you'll follow me, she leads you out of the normal room, and you emerge out of that gold dome of dragonness, and you're in the hollowed-out mountain, and she will lead you down the various spiraling stone and wooden staircases and take you to this huge treasure vault. It's massive. The doors are like encrusted with jewels, and it's all impressive, and it's very dragon is the only word I can use to describe it. And she'll crack it open, and inside there are things comprehend in a single look. Go at it.
Yes.
Ooh,
All right,
boy.
there's the rest of the session. Thanks for showing up, ladies and gentlemen.
This is gonna be like one of those. We're gonna have like one of those Scrooge McDuck moments where we jump into like the pile of coins and don't kill ourselves.
Land on a sword face first.
I was about to say, you know coins are metal, right? They're jumped in first and move for you. You just...
I want to imagine that there's like some Willy Wonka-esque things going on here. Like there's some little kobolds acting like Oompa Loompas and all that.
Like Scrooge McDuck is actually made of titanium.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? Yeah, Cody, I like that. There's some kobolds. They're running around doing Oompa Loompa stuff. They keep the treasure vault going. You see them like, there's like tubes of gold coins just rummaging down, and
Only
over
difference
and
is now they're singing songs about greed instead of not succumbing to greed.
yeah.
It's
To
just
avoid
gold,
copyright issues,
gold,
I don't know if
gold,
they're going,
gold,
I don't know, they're going like Scooper, Loompa. I don't know what they're doing. They're just having a fun old time.
Okay, they're going to be our targets for these things that we're trying to get. Okay, so let's find ourselves something that works for absolutely everybody. Let's find all the magical swords we possibly can and test them out on the nearest vaguely humanoid shaped piece of armor. Let's set up a target.
I'm looking for smaller things while they do that. Rings and bracers and
Ring of anything of protection.
yeah.
Sugar, you're a weapon
specifically.
now. What sort of things look good here?
You can spot your own kind, right?
Oh, are there any other intelligent items in here?
Like I said, I do not have my book, so I can't just start flicking through and find. So
Actually,
Okay.
I do have a couple questions. So just because I haven't been here for the whole thing, what is the detailing of the existing army, not including Natalie's forces, that you have?
this
Small
is
but
a
well
good
trained.
question. What do you have? I mean, okay, you've got the Dark Menagerie, which is 4 Frost Giants and 30. The Forces from Scarfell, which is 12 Gnolls, 2 high-level knights, 4 less high-level knights, a bunch of normal people. The Monstrous Regiment, which you recruited from Dunkirk. You've got Unst and his band of Northern Raiders, a bunch of barbarians,
Minus Vlad.
minus Vlad.
We have the postal service.
You do.
That's
You have
true.
You have a postal service made up of winter wolves who
Yeah,
transfer
no, that's real.
goods in ogre corpses.
Yep.
Okay.
We
Um,
don't have anything from Satanfish because we murdered them all.
yeah, you killed every single fish person.
We don't have
The
any
only
of
thing we did-
meat sprinkles, buddies.
You,
Oh,
you
yeah,
killed all
we
the
killed them.
goblins.
Mhm.
You haven't asked around here. You know, the small village of Draxspire. There might be some dwarves hanging around who might help if you wanted them to.
Yeah.
There's no orcs. They've all gone.
Yeah.
We
So-
might have the service of this slightly divine bird lady who we haven't met in a while.
Oh yeah, she's potentially around somewhere.
We have the children are trained to be thieves back in that village.
We've got the
Yeah.
children who were trained to be fighters that Kid rescued.
You do, but
Far too many child soldiers in this campaign for my liking.
There really are.
you've got the Dark Menagerie, which is then you've got the Dark Petting Zoo, which is the children from from Dunkirk. You've probably got a bunch of disgruntled survivors from both Dundee and Dunkirk who have all gathered in one location. So
Okay. So here's what we
Perfect.
need. We need a dragon, like just to fly around, and it's got like one of those signs that are just fluttering in the breeze on the back of it, that basically say, "If you hate Zarg," I'm just gonna sort it to Zarg because it costs by the letter. If you hate Zarg, come to Dundee. And hopefully people can read.
you've got your giant eagles. You've got them.
That's true.
Okay, after we get kitted out, Flick's gonna sneak off on a giant eagle. And on a giant eagle, I can fly to most of the like small settlements where refugees would be in like an hour or two, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say
A couple
for
hours or something.
well,
Like,
you
I
also
can
have
visit-
access.
Yeah.
You have access to the corridor of doors. You can just walk anywhere. You can.
Oh right. Okay, forget the eagle. Okay, so maybe they should hold off until I get my items. Maybe they will influence how this happens.
Well, what kinds of items are you wanting?
I don't know, but I'm thinking I might think about that and apply it to this. Maybe, well, I don't know. Forget it. I was thinking something that could like do disguise on a constant basis or something, but
A hat of disguise.
yeah.
Hat of disguise, mask of lies. Do that.
Mask
Hmm.
of Lies looks really, really freaky. It's like, hey, guess what? You're Hannibal now.
Yeah, it's more akin to oh god, what's that really awful Leonardo da Vinci movie? Boy in the Iron Mask. It's like that.
Huh.
None else watched that? Nope.
So Natalie is going to bring um her children and their forces. Um, each of her children are a like decently powered undead. The idea is, and it's up to Bardic how legit this is or not, but the idea is that because of her familial ties with each of them, that she's able to sort of bring back a piece of their soul so that they have some intelligence in their zombie corpse, whereas a normal zombie is entirely mindless. Um,
Yeah, that sounds fair to me.
and so they're sort of the like lieutenants. Together they lead her army, and then the rest of her army is just complete trash mob level skeletons and zombies um, that are just fodder to to die instead of more important people.
Good.
Okay.
That sounds
like
fair
that.
to me.
And so yeah, they're marching. They're probably marching right now, headed towards Dundee.
Okay. So, Rebecca, you
How are
mentioned
they
that
going
Utsura
to
was.
inform the people there that they're on their side?
I don't know, they've got a sign.
That'll work.
You just attach a small sign to one of their necks. Go, we here to help. We good zombos.
This sounds like a trap.
Yeah, you might want to like tell them that that the undead that arrive first are on your side.
Rebecca, you said that Utsura was going through some kind of transformation.
I mean, kinda. She's changing her hair and part of her clothes, but that's it. Um, so instead of her hair being down, she just takes out the ribbon in her hair and pulls up her hair into like this bun, and then puts the ribbon around that to hold it in place. So no more crazy hair everywhere. And then uh, it's getting warmer, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay. Uh, so how kimonos are? She'll just like pull off the not pull off like pull off the sleeves, the top part of the kimono, and just let it hang down from the belt thing, the obi. Just like lay it down. And underneath she has the chainmail and the black one underneath that. So that's just all she has that then, and a little more airy, a little more less clothing.
Okay.
That's it. Because yeah,
You know, they just got no
uh,
sleeves now.
but
No sleeves. That tells you that you're ready to be a super wizard.
no sleeves. Yeah, like the black
um,
part is like a kind of like a halter, like not a halter top. The tops that go around, like tie around the neck, whatever those are in the back.
Halter.
Yeah, one of those is there. So
Yeah.
yeah, no sleeves.
One other thing to take into consideration. This is probably your last chance. Way. This is probably your last chance to interact with NPCs if you want any kind of conversation or. What are you doing with all of them? Where are they going?
Suppose we should ask them. Because they technically have a say in this too. A lot of them just joined up because we were heading in the right direction.
if things go poorly, I would like to say have dibs on protecting the prince. How does that sound, Angus?
Well, if I'm honest, I don't really think I've probably got much of a say in that now, do I? Because you honestly terrify me. So,
You have a job to
Um,
do,
aye.
and I'm going to make sure you do it. And I'm going to make sure
Oh.
you survive long enough to do so.
Okay. Well, it sounds moderately terrifying, but
Aye.
That's- kind of been the theme of the whole day.
I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest right now. Currently, I'm a very confused mixture of terrified, impressed, but maybe a little bit turned on. But that might just be all the fear talking.
It's definitely not your frozen wife talking.
So there's low
Right.
blows flick, and then there's what you just committed.
But I feel that more than just myself and Angus might have a say in this if others have trepidation.
Trepidation, sure, but I mean, all I can think is that I just need to get in there as close to either the thing or the person that's going to stop this and put holes in them. That's really where my skill set lies.
Ultimately, I don't care what happens. All the plans can go wrong. As long as that hammer meet its mark.
To make
That's
sure that happens,
very
Kid says,
comforting.
emerging from a pile of gold. I think I might have found something that that might help Angus out a little bit, and it looks really snazzy too. And
Not
he
even
just
like-
sits there and he hauls out this breastplate, and this right here, according to the label on the inside, because the dragons are super meticulous about that sort of thing. This is called a Death Ward armor. It's black enameled, looks somewhat translucent. It's not even entirely of this world by the looks of it. It's got small, wide images of skulls. Like, honestly, it's really, really sexy around Halloween time, I think. But this right here, I don't know much about it, but basically it means you'll be able to get hit with one death effect and just shake it off.
Angus kind of looks at it and goes, aye. I think this really goes with the aesthetic I'm building here. You know, I've got my antlers, I've got my hammer, I've got my skull, chest plate, you know. It's a real hodgepodge mess, but you know what it says? King.
Yeah, the
Tyrant.
underworld, but it works.
Oh shite, I'm gonna be a king.
Yeah, you're going to be a
Fuck.
king. Let's go ahead and start thinking about that for a second, because I believe all of us were promised positions.
Aye, you were, weren't you? So, I believe Flick, you wanted something to do with the money, and I have absolutely no reason to not trust that.
I mean, who's going to keep track of it better than me, honestly?
I mean, that's true. Very, very true.
I can't promise you're always going to know where it is, but I will always know where all of it is.
Well, so long as somebody does. I mean, that's how economy works. You know, one person knows where stuff needs to be else.
Exactly.
That's a sound basis for a thriving, prosperous economy.
I think so.
Kid, obviously you're the Jarl of Cardenbath.
Technically, that ranks as a duke according to your weird system of government.
Aye, that's the word.
So give me 3 reasons why we shouldn't go to war on you after this is done. Kid says in the most
one.
good-natured way possible.
It
One.
would be way too easy. It's not a
Dick
challenge.
move. Like, massive dick move. 2. You need to live that long. Because we don't know what the hell's coming up with this. And,
That's true.
3. Please don't.
All right, all right. I think
Mm.
you may have swayed me for now.
You've literally got an army of 40 people.
Yes, but 4 of them are frost giants.
Well,
That's
Mako
true.
would come up and he would say, "It'd probably be best if you were allies afterward."
That would be a pretty good
I think
idea.
that's what he's trying to say, and I kind of hit McFive.
Okay.
I can kind of nudge him.
I think I see what you're going with here.
Aye, well, we can definitely arrange some kind of. I mean, if I'm completely honest, obviously this entire kingdom is just screwed. You can't even call it a kingdom no more. What do you think would be a better way of governing this? Either like we split everything off and everything becomes like sovereign rule, or we establish some kind of democracy or republic or some such notion where representatives of each area will gather to make a governing council.
So you want to try to unite the kingdoms?
Well, what's left? Because there isn't one solid kingdom left. No, I mean that's what Pappy did, but
I've got a good
everything's
idea.
fallen to shite, really.
I've got a good idea. Why don't we, instead of like, doing the things that your dad had the biggest issue with and wiping out all the druids, why don't we see if we can take any druids that are still out there and have them help us make the land more sustainable so we can have more than 5 cities in this kingdom.
That's a really grand idea. However, I think the druids that are left are literally Relithor and that one lady from Scarfell.
Give it some time.
I mean, if I'm honest, I could probably, if I'm completely honest, after all of this fighting is done, I kind of want to learn how to turn into a rat. And I've got these antlers. I think druidism is a good route to go down. After seeing that these gods actually exist, all this nonsense about the triad. I think that they're somewhat of whatever they did represent at one point under the established church and my pappy. It obviously became somewhat close to zealotism. So maybe returning into a more natural form of religion, maybe that's better. And I think that might be a good route to go down. What does everyone else think?
I look at the only cleric in the room. Well,
Yeah,
only cleric I'm aware of.
I believe that your religions are putting up a bit of a barrier between your people and what you're actually worshipping. So yes, the druidic path might be better for your people. Let them communicate more directly.
All right, Gran, that's certainly something to look into. Well, now Relithor's got more of his mind back together. He'll maybe be able to do something with all that. Maybe.
I don't know. I thought he was more of a wild card without it. But the cool thing about a druid is that they technically are one of the best artillery you possibly can have, I should say. If anything, he can help take the fight to the rest of us, because I don't know. Hey, is Relithor around?
Yeah, everyone's just kind of milling around in shouting distance.
Relithor! If you had to gauge like your level of druidic ability on like some sort of scale of 1 to 20, what would you say it is?
It's um, it's probably somewhere around about a 10, 11, somewhere there.
Cool. We'll use that to great effect. Also, think fast, I say, throwing an adamantine scimitar at him.
Ha! Kind of gives it a little swing. It's been a while since I've used an actual weapon. You know, I think I prefer, animals, getting on in there and just
Hit the
tearing things
ground
to
with
shit.
it.
How hard?
I'm assuming like you were trying to put it through butter.
Ha ha! What does it do?
It's an adamantine weapon. Ignores hardness of less than 20.
Nice. Just whoosh. That's amazing.
I've had a feeling the dwarf in you would love that.
It kind of does.
I go over to Angus and like caress his cheek slightly in a creepy way. And what reward would I get at the end of this?
Well, first of all, I am technically married, so, but I don't quite know what's gonna happen because she's frozen in a giant chunk. But she is apparently still alive because she can cry. So I don't quite know what you're hinting at there.
Either that or
So,
she's melting, I say, diving once more into the gold.
No, you are far beneath me. I was not considering that.
oh, thank God, because you scared me so much. Well, what reward would you like? Do you want a city, a region? Do you
No,
want to
I've
own
already got
part of
it.
the land?
I just wanted to see you terrified just a little bit more. If we succeed at this, I won't be leaving.
Okay, grand. Um, what does everybody else want? Because I have no idea what I'm doing, if I'm honest. I know Keldor, he wants, to. You can be military, and that'll be great. You'll get all your monster friends. We'll do all that. We'll show that all people are welcome. Even if not what we expect, because I think that is a fundamental part of growing as a society. Just let everybody be in it and be who they are and accept them for that, and celebrate our differences and that instead of I quite like socialism. It is definitely a path I seem to be leaning towards.
Vaco, what are you risking your life on this for?
Upon hearing this, Faco he just kind of shrugs.
He's just got his eye on a strip club somewhere in Dundee.
I just want to go back to my tribe, show them that I'm brave.
There's a girl back there he's really trying to impress. He doesn't want to talk about it, but, she's got the biggest claws in the whole village.
I'm not from any of your cities. I don't know anything about what you guys do normally.
Under the sea, we get it. You haven't been at home since we left the Satan fish's lair.
It's been a long time, yeah.
And Utsua, darling, what about you? What do you risk your life for?
I don't know, not really this place. I'd rather return. To be able to return home, I need to help here, I guess. I don't know.
Falco, think fast. I say, pulling a very
I'm gonna-
dashing-looking cloak.
Cast
From
like
the-
teleport and go
Okay.
like right behind him.
So basically, a very fancy but very wadded-up ball of fabric sails at where you were.
Can I try and catch
All
it?
right, fine. Yes, you may.
What do you want me to roll for it, Matt?
I don't know. Instinctively, I want to say
Dexterity.
reflex.
Reflex.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to roll something this game.
There we go.
18.
Yeah, you can catch what he throws.
I like walk over slowly, like totally taking the tension out of it, and just put my hand out and it slowly drops onto it.
You've got a cloak of charisma +2.
I feel more suave already.
You would be very good-looking should you have it.
I put it on. It's piled up like 4 feet behind me in a pile on the floor. I hold my arms out and it looks like a little tiny kid wearing a gigantic. And it's
Like that,
wiggle
because
the
it's
ends.
too big.
That's perfect.
I look stylish. Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
God damn, I cannot doubt the fact that he is so very much more dashing than he was before. Kid says almost programmed.
I turn around and bend half over and wiggle my butt.
I start pulling
Truly
out
worthy of-
money.
At that point, the giant pile of bones and flesh that everyone's kind of just been talking around twitches. Just
Ah!
apologize.
I was not expecting this today.
Not done yet. It's in progress.
I wasn't expecting to get a rise out of any bones either, but here we are.
You know, just to make life easier, yes, I'm going to say the treasury, the graveyard are one and the same for my own
Sorry.
amusement. Like, no, screw it. Well, we keep all of our treasure with the dead people.
It's
We're
like
buried
it-
with our people.
It's like in the Addams Family movie when he pulls the wrong lever and he just turns around. It's the room shining full of gold, and then turns back around. It's the like dull, gray, worn down Addams Family room.
Oh my god, this is what
yeah.
happens when you give us too much power.
It is. All right.
So speaking of being in the treasury, I have been sleight of handing things into my bag this entire time.
Yeah, you can just be stealing handfuls of gold and jewels and all that stuff.
Since
It's
it's
most of the
also
magic item.
the graveyard, he's also probably like, because he like you do it like,
Desecrating corpses.
yeah, you're just like, oh wait, that's a finger bone.
Oh,
You go to grab something, it's like, ooh, that's a shiny looking. Nope. Put that back. So, Flick basically, you can essentially add, infinite money.
That's very
'Cause-
dangerous to say.
Infinite
Because-
money, you say?
Because there is nowhere to spend it.
Yeah. Plus, I am the treasurer.
Wait, do you have a
Yeah.
bag of holding?
Yes.
Dude,
Okay,
it's not a
because
great one.
infinite
I
money
do
can be a
specifically.
weapon in combat.
Yeah.
You could say,
Throw
"Oh crap,
infinite money
they've
on
got us
somebody.
trapped. Let's just fill up this hallway with gold and then run away."
Y'all are animals.
Very smart animals. Thank you.
Are there any interactions anybody wants to have with any NPCs here or any other character anywhere in the world?
How many goofy faces is the paladin making as he's 2 feet away from a giant undead monster being constructed?
Yeah.
Reginald is immense. Oh, God. Oh dear. It's not evil. It's a good monstrosity made of the remnants of the dead who are laying peacefully.
Reginald, think fast, I say, throwing a helmet at him.
Ah! Oh, wonderful. Will it
Put it
ruin
on.
my hair?
I don't know. Put it on.
Okay.
I believe it's a helmet of hair burning.
Oh no, my dad!
Unfortunately, not. It is a blind helm.
I mean, we can make it a helm of hair burning if you really want.
Yeah,
So
those are
what?
good.
What does the blind helm give Reginald? What is he? What is he feeling?
Basically, he no longer has access to his regular sight, but he now has blind sight for 60.
Puts it on as
You made him blind.
Yeah,
In other
basically.
words.
Huh. This is
I
this is really. Oh,
I
no,
thought you were
I
a
feel like-
paladin.
No,
Now you're looking at
hmm.
everyone under their clothes. You're disgusting.
No,
X-rays,
no, I'm not. I'm not looking. No, I am sensing everybody in their clothes. But you know what? I feel, almost like a daredevil. with how I could just sense everything. No.
I'm regretting my actions.
I have an overwhelming desire to go and solve crime and get in fights with ninjas and hallways and have a very successful Netflix series unjustifiably gets cancelled.
I have a feeling that I may have accidentally had something that has an insanity effect upon poor Reginald, but if it helps him not have to deal with the whatever it is you've made in front of him, I'm going to go ahead and call it a win for now.
Yes. Yes. Well, even a slight insanity effect would be too much for his feeble mind.
Okay. So do we have everything that we need? I say, picking up the last of the things I want and putting my helmet of intellect on, which makes me so much smarter.
He smarter. Obviously, everybody else, because Cody, I can see what you've been typing over stuff you want.
Mhm.
In between sessions, everyone else can decide what other magical they get. All right, yeah, we're almost done for this week. Is there absolutely anything or anyone anywhere in the world to chat to?
I'm trying to determine if Greg wants to do something.
I want to talk to Keldor real quick.
Yeah, you can chat to Caldor. He's around.
Rebecca, did you want to go first, or?
I'm still talking to Shan.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, you're actually talking to Shan. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I go and I don't know. So next Keldor is probably prepping to go or something.
Yeah, Caldor's making vague notions, and he's kind of I don't know sketching something out. Like, all right, so this and we got the groups, and we're going to do this, and ground forces going to be like this. Got plans. Got plans.
All right, buddy. Well, I know you're probably the best one of us to be in charge of this part of it, but we're gonna miss you up there.
On one hand, yes, I really, really would have liked to have been there, but I think this is kind of my calling. Finding people like me, monsters, and leading them and showing them, and then showing the whole world that we're more than what we look like. That we just make sure you really make him pay.
Oh, I'm gonna. Someone's gotta. Well, I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right going into this without you. You've been with us there since, everything burst into flames.
Literally.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate, but yeah, this is just how things go. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be doing everything down here. I'm going to be keeping everything going, and I am still with you. I've been with you. I'm always going to be with you. Just don't die.
I take one of the saber-tooth daggers, one of the teeth, and I turn around handle first, and I present it to him. Just in case, you know.
Keldor gives a nod. Like, yeah, I know. I know.
And then I run up and hug his leg, and then turn around and run away.
Oh, it's so cute.
This whole time, Greg's been standing in the corner nodding silently. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kid,
Yes.
you are, well, I don't know, in attitude, you seem to be. Are you truly the leader of this band? Seem to push, make things move.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Kid gets a little bit flustered at the word leader. I can't really say. It's like, honestly, if I were to say that I was leading anybody, that'd be a stretch for this group. I basically, I don't know. I come up with the best idea I think I have, and it hasn't failed us so far.
Could,
Like,
could you
if
please?
I had to say whether or not I'm the leader, I don't feel comfortable with. And honestly, the first thing I'd ever even step up and say I am the leader of is probably Dark Menagerie, because I built that myself. But this just came together.
Could you please come with me privately for a moment?
Fine.
And Natalie will.
Is it okay if Sugar comes with us?
Sure.
Okay.
Natalie takes Kid off to the side.
Okay.
As much as I enjoyed my experience at the pool, I am still afraid of dying forever. But I
I've
need
thought
to.
about it. Do you?
As soon as he's
Okay.
dead,
Mm-hmm.
I need to die. I need to go with him. And if I'm not brave enough, through whatever means necessary, please make sure I follow him.
Sure. Okay. Is there any reason why you're only telling me this?
I'm hoping that it doesn't need to even come into effect, but it's very personal why I'm doing this.
Okay. Okay. I'll make it happen, and I guess, try and make it as painless as I possibly can.
Thank you.
Unless you prefer otherwise, I say, trying to lighten the mood slightly. In probably the darkest way possible.
I'll try and make sure that you and the prince make it out at the very least.
Okay. All right. I'll watch your back, you watch mine, and hopefully you go before I do.
Yes.
I turn back to Greg and Primrose, and I'm like, okay, chopped liver. Let's get to this.
Primrose. Is Primrose here now?
Oh, man.
Ah, yes, it's spirit.
Primrose is
Oh,
good as
God.
always.
It's never been Utsu in my head. It's always been Primrose in a mask. It comes out now,
Just tiny.
crouching down on one knee.
Just shuffling along on their knees.
What is it, Flag? What do you want?
Just one more drink and happier days.
Jesus. So anyway, what are you saying properly now?
I already did it. It was an act out. It's lost to time immemorial.
Okay, well.
Okay. Unless anybody has any burning desire to do any final thing, I think that's a perfect place to wrap up for today. Alrighty. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Sorry for various audio issues. We tried to figure out what was going on, but if it hasn't been fixed, technology is just not our friend today, and sometimes that happens. Also, a huge thank you to Valdrineth, a raid I missed a few minutes ago. Sorry about that. I briefly not looking at everything, but thank you very much for that raid. However, we are ending. We're going to go raid somebody else. I don't know who we're going to raid. I'll check that out in a minute. But thank you. We have been here for Daisychains playing here at Welcome Party RPG. You can find them on Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube for Welcome Party RPG. That's what it is. Go find them on all those places. Thank you to the sponsors, being Tabletop Loot, all of them, So Nerdware, and Devon Rue. That's the name. Podcasts. Welcome to Party has podcasts. They are on Podbean, Google Play, and iTunes. Go check out them. Go check out the Discord link. The server link should be down below in the description. It's the quickest way I've done everything, I think. I am the Bardic Knock. You can find me on those places: Patreon, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, all under the Bardic Knock. It's there. I exist. I'm also in Discord. I'm there quite a lot. So you can tell me if you like the game, if it's a rambling mess. I'm there and I'll listen. I'll go, it was pretty bad.
Probably.
And then we will promptly ignore it and go back to what we were doing.
Yep.
Exactly. Do. That's it. That's all I've got to say. Shogun, where do I find you on the internet?
I am Shogun117 on Twitter, and you can find me here until the end of this game, and also on Pokemon, which is run every other Thursday, also run by Bardic Knock, where we are so evil.
Worst.
The worst.
Just the worst.
And
Just line up the puppies, and every one of them will get punted.
Arguably, everybody is, not that great in the universe of animal forced fighting.
yeah, but we take it so much farther. Oh, so much farther. Because not only are we doing evil things that can happen in the Pokemon universe, we're just doing evil stuff you can do in this universe, like tricking people into having debt for the rest of their life and stuff like that.
It is top tier, just deconstruction of society.
The most evil thing that I think I've done so far is murdered someone else's Pokemon and then wrote them a check for the exact amount that those Pokemon cost.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah,
And by the way, this was in a non-combative race.
Okay, so we've got confirmation that this group is evil.
Yes, very.
All right. Let's see.
So, TJ, do you want to... Not TJ, Cody, even. TJ, you don't have anything
TJ,
to
you
tell us
gonna-
about.
Oh,
No, not really.
okay, cool.
Nothing relevant.
I'll do it then. So, what I've got today is I've got my two favorite artists that have been doing very awesome work for me for the past 2 years or so. One of them is Mikun19 on deviantart.com. Go give her a watch for whenever she opens up commissions again, because they are awesome and you will not regret them. And the other one is Thomas JB on Twitter. He posts a lot of really cool stuff and has drawn the artwork for... Actually, both of the artists have drawn the artwork for Kid the Dark Horse, with Thomas drawing the first one and Mikun drawing the second one. Let's see. Do we have someone to read for Shan today?
Well, I can tell you, Shan. Shan does loads of stuff, including her, Perla art. She does a bunch of other stuff. She's on various streams here, there, and everywhere. And you can find her Twitter, which is at Shanalogic. It's on the bottom corner of the screen. Go check that out if you want more information on everything Shan related.
And who doesn't,
Rebecca?
let's be honest.
That's true. Rebecca, you have a DeviantArt to tell us about?
It's DeviantArt, LUA, or no, LUNDAN.
That's the ticker. And that is it for us. Shogun, do you have somebody you want to raid? Because if not specifically, I've just looked in the Discord. There's Devil's Luck Gaming.
Ooh, yes,
who
let's
are
do
on-
them instead. Yes, I had one, but let's do this.
Yeah. They're doing Shadowrun.
Ooh, if you want to get evil
That
with
I
mechanical
believe that has fox in it as well.
The do?
Yeah. Let me see
Go
if I
there.
spelled this right. I did. We're going. If Twitter is not
Alright.
lying to me, Fox is in that game.
So we will see you all next time. Until then, stay safe and happy adventuring.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right,
Got a slight sign off from Vaco.
we're out.